Hello, my name is Michelle Frederick, and today I'll be presenting on multiple sclerosis. 4 years ago, I was diagnosed with this autoimmune disorder, and I wanted to share with you a bit of what multiple sclerosis is. Multiple sclerosis, or also known as MS, is an autoimmune disorder where the immune system, which usually fights germs, attacks nerves in the brain and spinal cord. It damages the layer of tissue called myelin, which surrounds and protects the nerves, and when myelin becomes damaged, scars develop. Multiple sclerosis literally means many scars, and currently there is no cure. Some common symptoms are vision problems, fatigue or weakness, numbness or the pins and needles tingling sensation when your foot falls asleep, memory problems, heat intolerance, sensory loss. When I was first diagnosed, I woke up one morning and my gait was completely off. I couldn't walk well at all, and I had severe memory problems. I couldn't recall anything that happened a few days prior. Diagnosis is usually done through magnetic resonance imaging and MRI of the brain or spinal cord, through evoked potentials, which measure the electrical activity of the brain, used to identify subclinical lesions, or through a lumbar puncture. It may be useful if MRI is unavailable or MRI findings are non-diagnostic. I was diagnosed through MRI of the brain and spinal cord and a lumbar puncture, which is also spinal tap. There are 4 stages of multiple sclerosis. The first is called clinically isolated syndrome. This is the first attack of a disease that may be MS, but the person is not actually diagnosed with MS yet. It can be classified as problems in the nerve of the eye, problems with the brainstem, or problems with the spinal cord, but not necessarily MS. Relapsing remitting, this is the most common form of MS, and symptoms come and go. People with this type have flare-ups, relapses of symptoms, and problems will lessen or remit or completely vanish, and there is a period of time between relapses when the person has no symptoms or is in remission. The third is primary progressive. People with this kind of MS have constant symptoms, which tend to get worse over time. And fourthly, secondary progressive. People with secondary progressive start off with a period of relapsing remitting symptoms before symptoms gradually get worse. Without treatment, most people in the relapsing remitting category will develop this form of MS within 10 years. Epidemiology and burden. The frequency of MS varies by geographical region throughout the world, apparently increasing with distance from the equator in both hemispheres. The disease is more common among women than men. Peak onset is at around 30 years of age. The disease is less common among non-white individuals than whites. Etiology. Among factors that have been most closely scrutinized are infections, including a number of viral infections such as measles and Epstein-Barr virus, climate and solar conditions, living conditions, diet, and trace elements. Current strategies to address global health issues regarding MS. As with many neurological diseases, MS is a mysterious condition with no known pathogen or accepted determinants of its severity or course. To date, there has been an improved understanding of the pathology and the evolution of the disease, and as a consequence, new approaches to treatment, including repair and neuroprotection. Until a cure is found, people with MS have to rely on reducing the inflammation during an acute phase by the use of corticosteroids for providing symptomatic relief. Critical analysis of MS. The situation is especially problematic in the developing countries, as often equipment such as an MRI scanner is not available or too expensive. Medicines are also costly and beyond the reach of many patients. Rehabilitation centers for people with MS are not available, and MS research used to be conducted by physicians on behalf of patients with MS, but today research protocols are more likely to be driven by patients' perspectives. Some proposed sustainable solutions. Research is beginning to uncover factors that increase a person's risk for developing progressive MS, including smoking and obesity. A trial funded in part by the MS societies of the U.S. and the U.K. showed that an oral epilepsy therapy may protect against optic nerve damage, often the first symptom of MS. The results need confirmation in a larger study, but raise the possibility of repurposing a therapy already on the market with a long track record of successful use. Wellness strategies may help stop inflammation or progression in MS. Reports by society-funded researchers suggest that dietary salt may speed the development of an MS-like disease in mice, providing new insight on immune system activity in MS. A comprehensive analysis of gut bacteria in people with MS is ongoing to determine factors that may drive progression and develop probiotic strategies for stopping progression. Several of the Society's commercial funding partnerships are advancing treatment strategies aimed at protecting the nervous system from damage and targeting progressive MS. Thank you.